Hey everybody, how are y'all doing this evening? Um, as earlier we posted, me and my friend Mike was gonna start doing a channel on the Kennedy assassination, and we was gonna make it a critique on the case. Um, we was gonna lay out the pros and cons for you, and let you guys decide um, what you thought. Um, and maybe I mean basically just lay it out as a critique, not like, and not getting these big arguments and going things, but just lay out the evidence and let you, the viewer, decide what you think after we um, lay out the pros of our case. So last time we talked about Buell in the bag, and we touched on that, and I think that. Hey Mike, how you doing, bud?
What's up, brother?
What's up, my man? You doing all right tonight?
Yep, I'm just trying to set this up here, man.
Okay. Take your time anyway. I'll keep explaining. So we laid out the things with Buell in the bag. And did you end up believing there was a curtain rod in there, or did you believe there was a rifle? And
Chris, turn your volume up.
it is all the way up.
Oh, okay, I hear you better now.
And we let the viewer decide. So tonight's topic is going to be Lee's movements from the time he got to work and walked in. So that's where Mike wanted to start. So, you know, Mike, where did you want to start? Did you want to start from the time that he walked in or until the time of the
So
break room?
I heard you just explaining that, our last one was about, the bag and all that, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on that really quick. So we know that he carried a long bag into the depository, right? Well, fairly long, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't a rifle, Chris, what do you think was in that bag?
I mean, either a sandwich or his curtain rods.
We never found any curtain rods, and he definitely didn't bring a lunch.
Well, I've heard some stuff about some curtain rods that was found, but anyway, I mean, I'm,
Okay, that's all I wanted to ask because I forgot to ask it the last time. But so what did you ask me?
all right. So anyway, I asked you we was gonna lay out Lee's movements today. So of the day. Now, did you want to start his movements from the time he got to work,
Yeah,
or
eight
until
o'clock.
right up until the
8 o'clock
time
till
of the sitting room?
till
All right,
he
well, go
takes
ahead
off.
then. I will let you lead that because I'll probably not concede too many points, but I'll let you explain what happened. I do have a few rebuttals about some of the time frames.
Okay, we must realize that recollections of his movements and whereabouts will be hazy at best. These witnesses who remember seeing him had no idea that the president was about to be killed, and Lee would be the later
You don't
accused of it.
you don't pay attention to everything that's going on. Of course, right. Yeah, they're
Well,
going to
they
be
had no
hazy.
idea that this guy was going to do this,
Yeah,
or so.
allegedly, allegedly do it. He was never convicted in a court of law.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. For you, that's what I meant. But the first encounter I have with Lee is with Junior Jarman, uh, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. I touched on this in the first episode. He's seen Oswald looking out a second floor window towards Elm Street, and Lee asked, "What's going on out there?" Junior said, "The president's coming through." Lee said, "Which way will he be coming?" And then Junior said, "Right from Houston turning onto Elm." And Lee just said,
Okay.
"Oh, I see. Oh, I see," and walked away.
All right.
Do you have any encounters before that?
No, no. Like I said, my main case of this is going to be tonight of putting him in the break room and in the sixth floor at the same time. So, Um, uh, I'm leaving this up to you, and I'm probably not going to dispute. There's going to be a few things that I'll have rebuttals on, but it'll be later in the day about the elevator and et cetera.
Well, I'm jumping up right now to about 11:45, 11:50.
Okay. Well, before we jump to okay, all right, we'll go ahead. Where are you going to now?
I'm going to Charles Givens, Danny Ark, Billy Lovelady, and Bonnie Ray Williams. All saw
Hey,
Oswald on the fifth.
let me get my notes here because I've got all of those guys down. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay, so I got Givens, Danny Ark, Billy Lovelady, Bonnie Ray Williams. All saw Oswald on the fifth floor as they were descending down the elevator for lunch.
True.
They asked if he was coming down. He said no, but send that elevator back up.
According to Charles Given's testimony, that was given at 11:35. There were people that placed Oswald in the break room at as early as 11:40. That gives plenty of time for the elevator to go down and come back up and pick Oswald up.
Okay. And you're saying who you're saying seen him in the break room?
There were several witnesses that seen him in the break room.
Carolyn Arnold?
50. No, that Carolyn Arnold seen him at a later time. I didn't actually write down those guys' names. I should have, but there were people that put him there as early as 11:40. In fact, one thing that was wrong about no, Lee Harvey Oswald did not read a paper that morning, but Charles Gibbons placed him in the break room at 11:40. Not the break room, in the domino room, was adjutant to the break room at 11:45, reading a newspaper, which Lee Harvey Oswald did every day. So he did read a newspaper that day.
Okay.
That was Charles Gibbons' testimony.
To the Warren Commission?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe to Rankin.
Rankin. Okay. I have to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. I may not have the right one, but anyway.
All right.
Now,
Okay. Go ahead.
do we want to go into what Oswald's first alibi was to um, Captain Captain Fritz in volume appendix 11 of the Warren Commission?
Um,
Oswald's statement.
Really quick, I want to touch on Charles Givens. After going
Okay.
down for lunch, you realize he forgot his cigarettes up on the sixth floor where he was working on the replacing the floor. Right.
Yes, that is true.
When he went back up to get his cigarettes on the sixth floor, he got up there and saw Oswald walking around near the southern easternmost window, which is the sniper's nest window. He asked him if he was
Mhm.
coming down. Oswald said, "No, not now."
Okay, well, I mean, we have somebody that has to be off on their times there because if he went down and came back up and Oswald's placed in the break room at 11:45, you're still giving Oswald plenty of time to go downstairs. So, I mean, to get into the break room, even if he goes down, comes back up, I mean, it's not
If
going to
he
take
goes
10
down
minutes.
and comes back up, you're right. If he goes down and comes back up, we still have ample amount of time for him to get up there, assemble his rifle, and do his thing.
Okay. Again, like we said the other night, nobody has seen him assemble the rifle.
Most assassins don't assemble their rifle in front of everybody to bear witness to it.
So if we're going to go with his movements, let's go with, and is there anything else you'd like to bring up
What
before
were
I
you going to
bring?
bring up? What were you going to bring up about Fritz?
Oswald's first statement was to Captain Fritz, "Where was you at the time of the shooting?" And he said, "I was in the break room uh, with a short, stocky guy and a colored guy, which they call him then, Harold Norman and Junior Johnson." And that just prior to the motorcade, they were in the break room. And they did see that they seen Oswald through the domino room. So that places Oswald in the break room just prior to the motorcade.
So you're
Because
saying
basically,
that Lee, when he said to Fritz that he was eating lunch with them.
yes.
Okay, we got Junior Jarman, who was with the other black boys that testified Lee was not in the first domino room eating lunch with them at that time. All of them testified he did not eat lunch with them.
Now that's not what I've got here.
I'm taking
Where
my
is
stuff from the
that?
HSCA and the Warren
Uh,
Commission.
this is from I do not have my. This is from Appendix 11 of the Warren Commission when he said that. I do not have the source written down where he says that when he walked back in at 12:25, Lee Harvey Oswald was there. Now we already know that Carolyn Arnold placed him there at 12:23 or 12:25 at the latest, correct?
Yeah, but I'd like to make a heavily revealing point on Carolyn Arnold. Her testimony with him being in that lunchroom didn't come about until 1978. In her original testimony, she said she seen him on the first floor, and then she changed it to she never seen him at all. And then in 1978, she got this big revelation that she seen him in the break room.
Well, she did testify at the Clay Trawl shot. Now, I thought it was that she came out with that she seen him at 12:25 in 1964 up under Rankin, because she did make the statement that she seen him at around 12:23 eating his lunch as usual.
That didn't come out until 1978. When she was interviewed by the FBI just 4 days after the assassination, she said she saw a fleeting glimpse of Oswald in the first floor hallway as she was standing outside in front waiting for the motorcade.
Okay,
we can throw her evidence out.
Then she does put him on she puts him on the first floor then. You just said it.
That's what she said. Okay, but that's what she said 4 days after the assassination. Then in 1978, she said she didn't see him there. She seen him in the lunchroom, eating lunch. We can't go by somebody that keeps changing their stories.
Well, if you want to go that route then, Captain Fritz's first story had Lee Harvey Oswald on the first floor. And then 4 days later, just by way of his memory, he has him on the second floor. Well, which one is it, Captain Fritz? The first or second floor?
I don't know where you bring Captain Fritz in this.
Well, if you're going to say somebody's changing their stories, I mean, it's not uncommon for memories to fade.
We're talking about a woman who's seen the assassin that blew the president's head off, and her story isn't going to come out until 15 years later.
I'm pretty sure it came that she told Rankin that on the second interview in 1964.
No, you're talking about on March 18th. She gave two signed statements to the FBI agents that said no reference to seeing Oswald on the second floor whatsoever, not mentioning the incident at all, and didn't even mention seeing Oswald at all.
Okay, well, we'll have to go back to that because I'll have to go back and get my note that has my research.
Okay, so I remember you saying in the first episode about the timing that it would take for Oswald to construct the rifle. What did you say that time would be?
About 6.5 minutes.
Firearms experts concluded in the Warren Commission and HSDA that the Oswald's Mano Carcano could be assembled in little over 2 minutes with the screwdriver. That was documented by the Commission and the HSDA.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine. If that gives you 2.5 minutes and Oswald is placed in the break room at 12:25, does that give you enough time to get upstairs to get into position?
You have Oswald placed in the break room from Carolyn Arnold. I'm not accepting her testimony.
What about Harold, Junior Johnson, Harold Norman, who's seen him in the domino room?
That's on the first floor.
On the first floor. I mean, we've got two different stories here, whether he was on the first floor or the second floor at the time of the shooting. Does it really matter if he was on the first or second, as long as he wasn't on the...
No, because I have Junior Jarman and all the other black guys saying that they didn't see him at all down there.
I have that with them, that they seen him in the domino room when they walked back inside at 12:25.
Okay, so then we got some contradicting evidence here, I guess.
All right, so this maybe have something we have to go back on and go back into theirs. So let's give the benefit of the doubt that Oswald was seen there as late as 12:15. Would you concede that?
As late as what?
12:15. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say he was seen there as late as 12:15.
If that can be proven true, okay.
All right. At 12:15, Howard Brennan had already seen people on the sixth floor of the Texas School Book Depository. Arnold Rowland, um, where is Arnold Rowland at on here? Arnold Rowland had people with a rifle at 12:15, and not only did Arnold Rowland see somebody on the eastern sixth floor of the depository, School Book Depository, he also seen them on someone on the southwest. At the same time, Bonnie Ray Williams is supposedly eating his lunch. He is there until 12:20. He sees no one. Your window of setting up a sniper's nest is running out of time. Not to mention the fact that Kennedy's motorcade was 5 minutes late that day. So you have a very short window of opportunity, even at 12:15. If Bonnie Ray Williams sees nobody there at 12:20, you've got a 5 minute time frame. And the
I
point
don't I don't have any of the black dudes seeing him there at 12:20. I have them not seeing him at all.
you just conceded he could have been there as late as 12:15. I mean, 'cause we've had people see him there that late.
I don't think I can accept that.
Well, I mean,
We're gonna have to let that pass so we can clear it up.
then when are you saying he left the break room? Because I
I
have
don't think
multiple.
I don't think he was in the break room until he was there seen by Baker and Truly.
There were numerous people that put him in the break room.
Who?
Harold Norman and Junior Johnson seen him. Carolyn Arnold seen him.
Carolyn Arnold didn't come up with that until 1978.
Charles Gibbons seen him there.
I have Charles Gibbons seeing him on the sixth floor.
At the time of the first floor, here are the people, according to the Warren Commission, that seen him on the first floor: Charles Gilvin, Billy Shelley, Eddie Piper, Arnold Rowland, Okius Campbell, and I can't say this other's name. So there's 5 people right there that have put him on the first floor.
At what time?
At the time of the shooting, at the time 12:25. I mean, a few minutes prior to the shooting, there are five witnesses that have put him there, and that is without bringing in Junior Johnson and Harold Norman, who you discredited.
That's because at 12:25 we have the limo turning on. Excuse me. 12:29 we have the limo turning onto Elm Street. Bonnie Ray Williams, Harold Norman, and James Jarman are all in the 5th floor window. We have pictures of this.
Correct, but they said that they
So they got up there in 4 minutes.
They placed all. Yeah, you can take it up there in 4 minutes.
Then so can Oswald.
Even if it's 12:20 and I give you 10 minutes, they still placed Oswald on the first floor break room where he said he was at the time of the shooting.
Wait a minute. We're not at the time of the shooting. We're at 12:29. When they're on the 5th floor, Oswald could clearly make it up 1 floor ahead of them.
Okay, he probably could have, but what I'm saying is, so far Oswald's story is holding up. He said he was on the first floor, and you have 5 credible witnesses that put him there just prior to the arrival of the president's motorcade. Now, my question is, if you have 5 people that are placing him there just prior to the motorcade, he should have been in position to take the shot. And he was there we know he was there at 12:15. That's when people seen people on the 6th floor. He can't be in 2 places at once.
We got them on the 5th floor underneath the sniper's window, right? We do know that because we got pictures of that.
Correct.
After the second shot, you have cement and dust flying down onto their heads
All
from
right,
the
well, I didn't
shooter.
think we was getting in the shots tonight. I thought we was going to stay on the time frame.
No, we're just gonna. I told you we're gonna do the 3 shots, just not grassy knoll and
I think
all
we're
that
too
stuff.
early. I think we're too early for the 3 shots because there's some movements that I would like to make
Okay. Okay.
about Oswald. Okay, like I said, the first I named out the 5 people that said he was on the first floor. Now you brought up about the time frame that the government gave as far as the encounter with Baker and Oswald on the second floor. And you're of the opinion that it can be done, correct?
I'm of the opinion that we have 2 different testimonies from Junior Jarman and them.
We said we would go back and we would research Junior Jarman, all right? Because we're going to have to just disagree on the research that we have on them tonight.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to this right here. So Oswald is seen drinking a maximum of 90 a Coke 90 seconds in the break room after the shooting, correct?
Yes. You're talking about Truly and Baker?
Truly and Baker, yes. Now,
Okay.
now, the first point I would like to bring up is the Warren Commission had to slow down Oswald's ascension and speed up Baker's ascension to make them meet with 74 seconds. Now, I'm sure you've seen the videos out there of people putting up that Oswald walks across there, lays the rifle down, and walks downstairs up in 50 seconds or so. What people are discounting is there was boxes everywhere. Oswald had to weave through these boxes, run clear across to the other side, wipe the weapon free of fingerprints, except for the palm print and the index fingers that were not ascertainable, then turn around, run back across to the other side, run down 4 flights of stairs through heavy fire door landings, show up on the second floor of the depository, buying a Coke in his hand. Now, Truly had already made it to the 3rd floor by the time Baker entered the break room.
It took them about 75 seconds to get up there.
And there he is, standing with a drink, calm, cool, and collected.
Okay, so we have 2 tests made of Oswald's descent. At a normal pace, it took 78 seconds. At a brisk walk, it took 74 seconds. Later, the SHCA conducted him running from the 6th floor to the 2nd, and it took just 46 seconds. He could easily have been there. They could easily have gotten there.
You're discounting wiping the weapon clean and having him weave through the boxes.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
There's no way.
Why?
There's no way he could have wiped that weapon clean of just about all those fingerprints.
But he didn't wipe it clean. He didn't wipe it clean.
Almost.
Alongside his rifle.
No, it did not get wiped clean. It got sent to the FBI. The FBI didn't find a thing. It comes back 3 days later to Dallas, and suddenly they find a palm print.
Yeah.
How'd the FBI miss it?
They didn't miss it. They didn't finish their investigation on it. The other people wanted it.
Okay, so another thing I'd like to point out. Oswald runs down these 4, given the benefit of the doubt of the government, and you in your case, Oswald runs from the 6th floor to the 2nd, correct?
Yeah, and I'm not saying he was there way before them or anything like that. I'm saying they got there just about the same time.
Why did he not run past witnesses Victoria Adams that never saw him?
Hold on.
They were on the 4th floor.
Yeah, Victoria Adams, it was in the back stairwell.
Yes, the girl's on the stairs.
Because she was coming from the 4th floor.
Right, Oswald was on the 6th.
Okay.
She said that she did not leave until 30 seconds after the shooting, which according to your time frame would have gave them plenty of chances to pass each other. going down the stairwell.
But there is also room for chance that they just missed each other on that stairwell.
Okay.
There's definitely room for chance there.
Okay. In Officer Baker's first report, he mentioned no encounter of anybody on the second floor. The encounter that he mentioned was a man in a brown workman type suit that was walking away from him.
Yeah, he encountered him with Truly, and who identified him as Lee Oswald.
No, no, no. I'm talking about the fourth floor encounter, the one you never get heard about. Baker encountered a man on the fourth floor also.
Where is this from?
This is from another research site that I have. It's called JFK 1963. Look it up. I mean, that's where I get all my Warren Commission things from. In Baker's first report, he never reported encountering Oswald. And the reason it is because Oswald went back inside to buy a drink, and he just happened to walk in as they was coming up the stairs. He never mentioned the encounter with Oswald in his first report. He mentioned the encounter with a man on either the third or the fourth floor that was walking away from him.
Well, all of my time on the conspiracy side, I did never heard of Baker seeing anybody on the fourth floor.
Get up.
After the second
I will gladly send you this link.
After the second floor, they darted right up to the roof. He thought the shots were coming from the roof because he seen pigeons fly off.
Second floor encounter may not have never even happened.
Well, we got Truly and Baker testifying to it.
But like I said, it didn't come out until after about 4 days later. His first initial report was never about Oswald. It was about the encounter with the man on the fourth floor. This doesn't come out till after he's dead.
So what's that mean? That they made it up?
Well, I mean, if he's not there to tell the truth, I mean, this goes back to the whole school book depository. I mean, this whole Texas theater thing, which we'll get into. Oswald never drew his weapon on McDonald. That never happened. And I'll be able to lay out that for that. But anyway, back to this right here. So, the encounter on the fourth floor, yes, that happened. Now, I mean, what probably happened is he was seen with these 5 witnesses that I talked about and walked inside. He made in one of his statements where's it at in which volume? I don't have the volume written down. But he said that he was out front with Bill Shelley. Well, Bill Shelley said he was kneeling down, but according to the famous Aldrich's photo, that is Bill Shelley standing up. Bill Shelley said he was sitting down. And
you mean Billy Lovelady?
Yeah, excuse me, Bill Lovelady. He was sitting down beside Bill Shelley in that famous Aldrich's photo. And Bill Lovelady said Lovelady said he had a different shirt on that was on in that picture that day.
Oh, so you're going as far as to say that picture of Billy Lovelady is not Billy Lovelady? We even have Buell Frazier saying to Billy Lovelady, man, because he was a short guy, he said, just go on down the bottom of the stairs and you get a better view. That's Billy Lovelady, man. Come on, man.
They resemble a lot, don't they?
Not really if you look at other photos. We're talking grainy, black and white 1963 photography here.
Have you ever heard of Prayer Man?
Refresh my memory.
The Prayer Man picture, look it up. There's a picture of a man standing right outside of the shooting, has the same clothing on, that strongly.
Where is he standing?
Right out front.
Okay, so not only is the picture of Billy Lovelady possibly Oswald, this Prayer Man is also possibly Oswald.
I'll concede with you that, I mean, that was just a point that I was bringing up that some conspiracies like to think. I'll concede the point that probably was not Oswald Bill Lovelady, because the Prayer Man looks a whole lot more like Lee Oswald than Bill Lovelady did.
Okay, so at this point, you're saying that obviously there is a shooter in the book depository somewhere, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, there was no mysterious or unknown man seen in that building all day long, and there's hundreds of workers.
All right, Go back and just look. I'll send you the link of Officer um, Baker's first encounter on the floor that was
I need to
walking.
see that. I need to see that link.
Okay, I'll be glad to show it to you.
Okay.
Because I had never heard about it till a friend of mine on one of my JFK channels sent it to me a few months ago, and I was like, wow, I've never heard of that in all these years.
Okay, so you can see that's a new finding for you, right?
That is a very new finding for me, yes.
Because like I said, all my years in the conspiracy thing, that's one thing I never heard. I never heard that. Anyway, um, after the first shot, although it was quickly swallowed up by the spattering motorcycles and people thinking it's firecrackers, firearm salutes, or backfires.
So we're
Virgie
going.
rates, but
Are we moving on to shots now?
I'm not moving on to the shots. I'm moving on to things that put Oswald in that window, but I have to go through the shots to say that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we got Virgie Rachley, a bookkeeper, says she sees sparks from the pavement after the first shot in the far left lane directly behind the limo. She thinks it's a firecracker. Secret Service Paul Landis, riding on the right running board of the follow-up car, initially thinks it's a rifle shot coming from over his right shoulder towards the depository. He draws his weapon. Rufus Youngblood, Vice President's car, sees the SS members in the follow-up car in front of him making unnatural movements. He physically orders Vice President Johnson to get down and turns to his right because he hears fire coming from the depository. Conley also looks to his right after that first shot. Officer Baker, as we know, 7 cars back, hears the shot and looks at the roof of the depository and sees pigeons fly off the roof. He immediately flies into the building, and that's where we have his encounters. 22-year-old James Worrell, standing in front of the Texas Book Depository with his back to the building, throws his head back after the first shot, looks straight up and sees 6 inches of a barrel and stock sticking out of the window high overhead in the southeasternmost side of the building. 9th grader Amos Ewins thinks it was a car backfire and started looking around. He spots a pipe-like object sticking out of the southeasternmost window of the 6th floor depository. And also Howard Brennan sees this guy up there.
Can I touch on one thing before you move on to Howard Brennan? Howard Brennan also picked out the shooter from the 7th floor and one window over, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's easy to explain because the first floor has no windows. So you can get that mixed up. But that's all. I wasn't trying to get into the shots there, Chris. I was just trying to get into that when the shots were fired, that people were looking to that direction.
I mean, if you're gonna go to the shots, you have to let me counter because Chief Curry, who was riding in the first car, thought the shots came from the grassy knoll and immediately dispatched me into the grassy knoll. Also, you had 53 witnesses who thought the shots came from the right in front of the president, including Bill Frazier, who said who was standing outside the school book depository, but thought all 3 shots came from the right.
Okay. The HSDA reviewed more than 178 witness and statements, found that 44% could not determine where the shots came from. 28% said the Texas School Book Depository. Only 12% said the grassy knoll. 17% said from elsewhere. But this boggle of where the shots came from can be easily explained with the echo chamber of Dealey Plaza and the November winds which swirls around in that fishbowl of an area.
All right, so I mean, what are we doing? Are we moving on to the shot star, or are we still staying on the time frame? I mean, because my
This is
final
part of the
argument.
time frame. This is part of the time frame from when he went to work to when he left.
No, we're moving into shots, and which directions they came from. I mean, the point is, I'm saying he could not have been on the 2nd floor, or the 1st floor, or outside, and been on the 6th floor at the same time. Not especially.
You need to pick. Was he on the 2nd floor or the 1st floor, Chris?
Does it matter? Was he on the 1st or 2nd? I mean,
Of course, you're taking them off the
okay, well,
sixth
his
floor.
initial statement was he was on the first floor, and then Captain Fritz changed it to the second floor.
Okay, but you said you got people seeing him on the second and first,
He did. He said he went from the first floor to go to
and
the
went up to get
second.
a Coke. I'm sorry, and went up to get a Coke.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
went up to get a coat. So yes, he
I'm
could be
sorry.
playing.
I'm sorry.
he-
Didn't follow you there.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was you, and let's concede that Oswald did do the shooting, would you not lie and and make up these stories as accurately as you can,
Would you not have already been
or
in
would you just say,
position?
"Yeah, I did it"?
But would you not have been already been in position since the president's motorcade was 5 minutes late? I mean, a sniper should have already been there, and you can't be in two places at once. He was
He's
pretty
gonna
non.
be he's
He was
gonna
pretty.
be there. He's gonna be there when he sees that the motorcade is coming. You can hear it coming.
You should already be in position
What's the name of the street that they turn on before they turn onto Houston?
on the Elm.
No, before they turn onto Houston.
I don't recall.
Is it Maine?
Yeah, they turned from Maine on to Houston. Houston on
Yeah,
to
okay.
Elm.
Everybody said that. Everybody said, even the guy, fucking, what the hell was his name? Who was right in front of the shot when his head blew up with his kids and wife. What was his name?
Charles. Um,
Bram?
Charles Brown. Charles Brown. Yes.
I mean, yeah, these people were saying that they could hear the motorcade coming all the way down Maine.
Okay, so you're going to tell me that he's sitting there at 12:20, 12:25, 12:15. He hears the motorcade, goes upstairs, retrieves the weapon, goes in the sniper's nest, fires three shots at the president, then in a maximum of 90 seconds is seen in the second floor break room where he said he went to buy Coke, like he had stated
I'm saying
earlier.
the second half of that is true. I'm definitely not saying that he was down on the second or first floor. I'm definitely not saying that. I do not have that testimony. I have completely conflicting testimony on that. We have given seeing him on the sixth floor. We have him seeing him up there.
I just named you five witnesses who placed him there.
But I did too.
I mean, he was seen on the first and second floor. Nobody can concede that.
I can.
I
Because
just
like I
named
did,
five witnesses. Charles Givens.
if he was framed, how would these framers know that Oswald would be? How would they know where he would be during the shooting? If he had been down on Elm Street, or first floor or second floor, like you say, that would completely exonerate him. These framers would want him to be up on that sixth floor.
Oswald never actually, he did say when he went out with Bill Shelley, and nobody knows if he went out there prior to the motorcade and then walked back in. But Oswald has always maintained that he walked back in and he walked upstairs and bought a Coke. That has never changed. And that's where he was seen 90 seconds after the shooting.
You don't think he can make it down to the second floor from the sixth floor in 90 seconds?
90 seconds after the shooting to run clear across the other side, dodging and weaving boxes, wiping the weapon clean of fingerprints, running back to the other side, running down 4 flights of stairs, crashing through heavy fire doors, past witness Victoria Adams, who never saw him, and then shows up in the second floor drinking a Coke, calm, cool, and collected. No, I do not.
They recreated his movements, though.
Yeah, they did it several times. And like I
Yeah.
said, the first time they had to slow Oswald's ascension and speed Baker's. Truly was already to the third floor.
He was heading up towards the third floor when Baker seen him. Yeah, you're right about that.
He was almost top of the third floor.
And he brought him back down to identify.
Right. And
I'm
then
of the opinion that he could easily have made it. I've seen the recreations. He could have made it. I'm not saying he made it there way before
Look at
them.
how
I'm
the
saying,
recreations are done. They're done in empty warehouses. They don't ever show him wiping the weapon down.
but they
They don't
even did it at walking at a slow pace.
they don't show the head. Yes, but you're having to go through boxes. They never show him wiping the weapon down, and they don't show the heavy fire door landings he had to crash through.
They do show him carrying a rifle, putting it in his side where it was, and going down.
I've seen those, but the point I'm trying to make is they're walking through a wide open space, not a place that has boxes everywhere.
It didn't.
Yeah,
It didn't have boxes everywhere because they were replacing the floor. Boxes were put off to the side.
there were a lot of boxes up there.
Right. But they were replacing the floor, so obviously they can't have boxes everywhere.
Uh, I'm saying he was exactly where he said he was, and he went to buy a Coke.
Right.
He was never on the sixth floor.
Now, when he encounters Truly and Baker, wouldn't he? He's a pretty smart-witted guy. He likes all these spy movies when he was a kid and stuff. I think when he's seen them, just because he's out of breath, that he's not out of breath, that means nothing. They weren't out of breath ascending the stairwell. They testified to that. They weren't out of breath ascending. And
Well,
when
he's to the second. You're talking about a guy who had just ran from one side of the school book depository back to the other, and then back down 4 flights of stairs,
descending stairs.
descending stairs. They had only made it to the second.
I don't think it's that hard to act normal and calm, which is what you would do if you just shot the president.
You don't think it's unnormal to be calm, cool, and collected after you just shot the president of the United States?
No, because you want to cover your ass.
Well, I mean, he didn't do a very good job of covering his ass, according to you.
I think he did.
Well, I mean, you're going to leave behind that much evidence? I mean, why didn't he take the shell casings with him? It couldn't have tied him to the rifle.
He's also an idiot.
But I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't say he's smart, calm, cool, and collected, and
Because we both can agree that he did not have this planned out, to the nth degree, because he left shell casings. He left his rifle there. He couldn't walk out with his rifle. He took his shot. Howard Brennan said after the third shot, he pulled his gun in, looked, made sure he got his shot, made sure his work was done, casually put his gun in, and then disappeared into the darkness of the sixth floor.
Well, that right there should show you that cost you a few seconds right there.
Yeah, seconds. That's not a problem.
We're talking about a minimal time frame for you to be from the sixth floor to the second floor.
Yeah, we're talking. You're giving him a minute and a half, 90 seconds. I know I can get downstairs and duck and dodge obstacle course of boxes in a minute and a half. No doubt about it.
And not out of breath and sitting there drinking a Coca-Cola.
Maybe he was out of breath, but he can cover it.
You don't try to get the fuck out of the building before anybody else comes in there. You don't try to disappear into the crowd. The first thing you do is you decide to just stop and buy a Coke.
Well, he's coming down to the second floor, and he sees a police officer coming up from the second. He's going to walk in that break room.
All right, say that again.
He's not going to run. He's not going to keep running down by a police officer.
Well, why don't you just walk out?
Because at that point, he's running down, like you said, in panic. He just ran out. So he's going to think of the quickest thing he can think of, get in that break room, buy a Coke, and make it look like...
Why would you buy a Coke if you just shot the president?
To make it look like you were in there eating lunch, man.
So he thinks all this out, but he doesn't think...
Which also coincides with his testimony to Fritz.
Well, see, the thing about it is you want to say that, he's held in captivity for 2 days. They took no notes. They took no recordings. So you don't really know what they said. All of these notes were mostly written shorthand 4 or 5 days after their interrogations. So we really don't know what Oswald said to them. Fritz
I
already
can.
admitted. Fritz already
Well,
admitted his testimony may be
they did
wrong.
not have a recorder in the Dallas, Texas Police Department at that time, and I definitely can concede you that point that they didn't take, that they only took handwritten notes. I definitely can concede you that. I think that was a big mishap on their part. I definitely agree with you there. But
Okay.
that does not give us 100% reason to doubt everything that they wrote down. It doesn't. In on this conspiracy. And that point, you're saying Fritz made up all these notes at the end of the couple days in the jail. You're putting Dallas police, you're putting FBI, you're putting Secret Service, all in this conspiracy.
I actually never said that Fritz was involved. What I said Fritz was his testimony was different. Memories fade. Maybe what Fritz said the second time was actually true. Because Fritz's adrenaline was probably pumping too. I mean, there's a lot of things he probably forgot during that.
I don't know about that. And every time Oswald was backed into a corner in these interrogations, he would get angry. I'm not speaking no more.
Well, would you not get angry if you just been accused of murder of the President of the United States and gunned down a policeman on the streets of Dallas?
Sure. And I would also get angry that if I did do it and I was getting backed into a corner of having to be proved that I did do it, I would say, hey, I'm done talking. Definitely. You would too.
He asked for a lawyer on numerous occasions.
He was told he can be represented. He wanted attorney apt, ABT.
Yeah, but every time you see him, he's begging for a lawyer, and he says they would not allow him legal representation.
He had ample chances to make a phone call. This is all documented. He didn't do it.
He did make a phone call to North Carolina.
I'm saying for a lawyer.
And we'll have to get into that because we went way off topic about the time frame.
No, we're still on it. We're still on it. The only reason why I went to the shots, I wasn't trying to get into the multiple shooters. I just wanted to
bring up is where was my notes at?
Chris, I was just trying to prove that when those shots were heard, that people were looking at the depository.
People were also looking at the knoll. Where is that at? When Oswald left, and this is the Appendix 11 of the Warren Commission, when Oswald left the depository, a Secret Service agent, a man named Thomas Kelly, came up and showed Oswald a book of identification, and Oswald told him where the nearest phone was and actually waited until the man made it to the phone booth. Now, here's a man who's just shot the President of the United States and trying to make his getaway, and he's going to show a Secret Service agent where a phone's at and wait for him to get there.
All he did was point.
And waited for him to get there. Why would you even point?
It was right across the hall, man. I mean, what does that prove?
Why don't you say I don't know? And why do you want to?
What does that prove?
That proves that here's a man who's just killed the President of the United States, and he's going to stop and give somebody directions to a phone call when you're trying to make your getaway.
If he hadn't stopped and answered that guy, if he hadn't stopped and answered that guy about the phone, he would look suspicious. He wanted to get out of that building. If it took telling the Secret Service guy or to where the phone was, all he had to do was say, "Yeah, right there. There's the phone. Goodbye."
Also, man not matching Lee Oswald's description. A police radio was given out at 1:46 p.m. Sawyer alerted Dallas police. They chose not to put out an alert for this man.
You talking about Brennan's identification?
No, this is another thing. This was about thing that was put out that when Lee Harvey Oswald left, a man left at the same time. He did not match Lee Oswald's description. A police radio broadcast was put out. Inspector Sawyer gave the alert at 1:46 p.m. the was given to the police, and the police chose not to issue an alert for this man. So there was somebody else leaving the school book depository at that time.
But we don't know. So you're saying somebody was coming out of the building? That wasn't
Yes.
Lee.
Somebody else was coming out of the building, and it wasn't Lee.
I don't find that odd at all. People were running in and out of that building for a good hour.
I think that now there wasn't, because it was sealed off within just a few moments. You know.
Okay, so you're saying this unknown guy could have been the shooter? So who is this guy? Who is this shooter? You don't have a shooter.
That was the guy that Baker ran into on the 4th floor.
I need to see that. You need to email me that or send it to me in a message.
Yeah, I'll get it to you. And all you gotta do is and it'll give you his whole alibi.
So back to Carolyn Arnold. Why,
Yeah.
4 days after the assassination, would she say that she didn't see Lee at all? And then 6 days after the assassination, she said she's seen him near the outside door of the front of the building. And then 15 years later, says she's seen him eating lunch in a break room.
Well, I don't know if that time frame's actually correct. I'll have to go back and look at that. But
It's correct.
Okay. Well, still, if she's seen him at the 1st floor, does that not still put him downstairs at 1225?
Her initial testimony was, didn't see him at all. The second testimony 6 days later was, I caught a fleeting glimpse of someone that looked like Oswald on the 1st floor. Didn't 100% identify him. 15 years later, she's got a perfect identification of him eating lunch on the 2nd floor. Come on, man.
She testified at the Clay Shaw trial that she seen him eating lunch. That was in 1969.
What year was that trial?
1969, March of 1969.
You yourself said that whole Jim Garrison thing, that you were going to have a hard time with that. That guy was a. We don't have to get into that yet. That's something else.
There may be a few ties I can make, but all in all, I don't know if I'll have much defense for that.
And like I said, we have Charles Givens going back up to get his cigarettes on the 6th floor where he was working on the floor of that building, and he sees Oswald up there around that window. He said, "Aren't you coming down?" He said, "No, man, not right now."
That was at around 11:35, because we know Oswald was in the break room by 12:45. That gives him ample time for the elevator to go down, come back up, go down, come back up.
We're talking about very near to 12 o'clock with this testimony, actually. He had already broke down for lunch. He already went down for lunch, which was at 11:45 at the earliest.
Charles Givens claims, and this is on the same book I'll send you. Charles Givens claims it was between 11:35 and 12:45. So
12,
even at
11:45.
11:35.
Well, they couldn't have gone down to lunch at 11:35.
He said it was 30 minutes. He said it was 30 minutes normal than usual.
There's no way they went down to lunch at 11:35. Because they can't go down to lunch until Shelley goes down to lunch. The guy who runs the whole building.
They had to have, because you can't put Oswald in the break room. Oswald's in the break room by 11:45.
I have Oswald not in that break room. All the commission and HSDA does not have him in that break room.
Yeah, no, you're wrong on that. They have him in the break room.
I think even in the London mock trial, Bonnie Ray Williams says, "Nah, I didn't eat lunch with him."
Bonnie Ray Williams didn't. Bonnie Ray Williams ate his lunch on the 6th floor. He was there until 12:20. He seen no one.
That was Givens.
That was Bonnie Ray Williams. Givens said he seen him in the domino room reading a paper.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. So yeah, he ate his lunch on the 6th floor. That was the chicken bones found.
Yep. And these are He's there at
He had
12:20.
he had a sniper's nest built up. We seen that nest, we seen that
Well, that's
nest. He could
pretty
easily,
nonchalant for a sniper to move into place, isn't it?
he's in place already.
He wasn't in. Bonnie Ray Williams said he was there until 12:20 and saw no one.
I don't have that. I have him not in that break room. I
Not in the
mean,
break room. Bonnie Ray Williams said he was on the 6th floor of the depository until 12:20, and he didn't see anyone.
you need to send me this. This is not making any sense.
I never said Bonnie Ray Williams on the 2nd. I said he was on the 6th. That's where Bonnie Ray Williams said he had his chicken lunch.
Who are the three black guys in the 5th floor window?
I think Harold Norman, Junior Johnson. I can't remember the other guy's name. I think they went up there to the 5th floor window to watch the motorcade.
Bonnie Ray Williams is one of them.
Yeah, that's
The guy,
that's probably true.
yeah, the guy in the 6th floor that ate his lunch was Given. Queen went up to get his cigarettes.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Bonnie Ray Williams.
It wasn't, because Bonnie Ray Williams is one of the guys that said he had dust in his hair from the 5th floor.
That was after he'd went down to watch the motorcade.
No, they're watching the motorcade from the 5th floor.
Yeah, I just got through reading that. I'm pretty sure it's Bonnie Ray Williams.
Okay, well we can switch those up. That doesn't matter. That doesn't make a difference.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. So we have conflicting evidence here.
So, but okay, but still, somebody was there until 12:20 eating a chicken lunch and saw no one.
A chicken lunch.
Yeah, on the 6th floor.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant in the lunchroom. Sorry.
No.
But yeah, that was either I say it was Givens, you say it was Bonnie Ray Williams. But we're talking on the westernmost window. We're talking way down the west side of the building. We're not talking about near the southern easternmost window.
But Arnold Rowland said he's seen somebody in the western side of the building.
Could it not have been the guy eating lunch?
That could have been him because he did say it was a black man.
Oh, then there we go, Chris. You got to give me something here, man.
But you know, there are connections to, you know, was he black or was he Latino? Because the first reports was that Oswald was picked up by a dark-skinned man driving away in a Rambler or
Yeah, a Rambler. But that's prior to that. That's going beyond what this segment's about. We're going to hit that on the next one. This is very hard to break down. It's very hard to break into segments. This case has been so thoroughly investigated that there's so much detail. It's just so hard to break down into segments.
Well, I mean, my thing is the time frames. Not everybody can be wrong on these time frames.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about a short window of opportunity here.
But with the time frames that we have, where I'm saying that they said he was not in the break room or the domino room, and you're saying he was in one of those rooms, one of us is right, one of us is wrong. Has to be that way.
Well, either somebody's lying or somebody's telling the truth. I mean, 'cause I have 5 people that are putting him, 5 to 7 people, 8 people that are putting him there, and you're saying none of them are putting him there.
I went all through the Warren Commission testimony, all through the HSDA testimony. I did not see that at all.
Well, one person can put him there. I mean, if that was true, I mean, Baker had him there.
After the shot.
After the shots, I mean, which I still say he didn't have enough time to get down there, show up calm, cool, collected, out of breath, fumble for change, put it in a machine and buy a Coke and stand there drinking a Coke when a cop runs in and puts a gun in your stomach.
Actually, Baker's testimony changed on that having a Coke thing. At first, he said he had a Coke in his hand. Then he changed and said, because Truly contradicted it and said, no, he had nothing in his hand. Then Baker's
So,
next testimony was that maybe he didn't have anything in his hand. But we do have proof that there was a full bottle of Coke in that lunchroom. I give you that.
okay. So let's just say he didn't have a Coke in his hand.
Right. And he
So,
confronts them, right?
so then, after being confronted,
Yep.
instead of walking out the nearest door where the police have gathered, he buys a Coke and at a cool pace walks out the furthest entrance.
Because he just was encountered with by a police officer. He knew if he was going to get hemmed up that he was going to use this as his alibi. So he buys a Coke, doesn't even drink it. And then he can say to Fritz, yeah, I was in there to drink. I went up to get a Coke. The Coke's there to prove it. This is all just him working on a whim to get his shit right, which a lot of his shit ain't right, as we know. But
See, and this is what we're going to go into. Why are you going to put such thought into minor detail when you're not going to put it into the bigger detail?
like what?
All right. When he left there that day, where was he headed?
Having a hard time hearing you, dude.
When he left that day, where was he headed?
What, when he left the building?
Yeah.
You want to get into this?
I mean, we can. I mean, if we're going to talk about, if I said, if he's putting such detail into leaving an empty Coke behind, but he's going to leave all this other
A full
evidence,
Coke, a full Coke. You didn't even drink
yeah,
it.
you're not putting a lot of thought into this.
I'm putting I'm putting the evidence out. That's all I'm doing.
I'm saying this guy who you're saying is thoughtful enough to buy a Coke and leaving a Coke there is not putting a lot of thought on, hey, I didn't grab the shells upstairs to take with me. Uh, I didn't plan out, what I'm going to do next, how I'm getting out of here, how I'm
Well,
getting home, where am I going to go? Where was he going after he got to the boarding? I mean, the boarding house. Man, we got a board idea with him taking a cab and a bus, but I mean,
okay, here we go. So he when he leaves the building, and plus, this we're not talking about Howard Gate. We're not talking about Bill Gates here. We're talking about Lee Harvey Oswald. There's a big difference with intelligence and stuff. He leaves. He shoots up Houston Street, gets on a bus, is seen on the bus by his old landlady.
who had also had a severe stroke and I believe was suffering from dementia, but go ahead.
Okay, but that wasn't even what I was trying to get into. I was just trying to put. He was on a bus, seeing all that the traffic was holding this bus up. He gets off the bus. What's that? What's that ticket you get when you a transfer? Gets that little
Trent,
transfer.
which
Heads
I,
up over to the heads up over to the cab stand. Jumps in a cab, and I have to correct you on this old woman coming up to the cab. Old woman comes up to the cab and says, Oswald does not get out of this cab to give her the cab. The cab driver, Whaley, I think his name was, Whaley, uh, told that woman there'll be a cab coming up right behind me any minute. That woman says, okay. Oswald did say to the woman, I'll give you this cab. But then Whaley comes in and says, there will be a cab coming up right behind me. And she says, okay, no worries, I'll wait. And then him and Oswald depart for Oak Cliff.
but Oswald did offer to give the cab.
Yes, he did, but he did not get out and give it to her.
Okay. All right.
So they're heading to Oak Cliff now. But I definitely don't want to get into the Tibbet thing because we both got to do research on that one.
Yeah, I think we went too far because the
I don't
thing
think
was,
we did. I don't think we did. We're doing all right.
yeah, but I mean, the thing was, I guess my final point was, I mean, we obviously have conflicting evidence. I'll be glad to go back and probably it wouldn't be a bad idea to retouch on this segment in the next one and go back and get the exact pages and
Yes, that would be a great idea.
work
But I
it.
definitely don't. I don't want to stop now.
Yeah, I don't want to stop now, but I think this was pretty good.
Also, if this guy was a patsy like he says he is, why when he leaves this building is he out there flagging down buses and cabs when he could easily have been identified and caught if he was just a patsy? These handlers of his would not have allowed him to be out there flagging down buses and cabs. They would not want this guy to get caught if he knew anything about what was going on.
Well, the first reports putting out of Lee Harvey Oswald was a little over 10 or 11 minutes after the assassination.
Brennan's
Huh?
Brennan's identification.
Well, y'all lone nuts like to say Brennan's identification. Brennan supposedly identified a man that was kneeling behind boxes inside a window with his muzzle to a rifle.
Yeah.
Which there's no way you're going to be able to tell me that you can give somebody's height, weight, hair color, and age from 6 stories down when Brennan wasn't wearing his glasses. But anyway, I'd also like to point out that Brennan officially refused to identify Oswald at the first lineup.
He was
You know,
petrified. He was petrified
petrified of what?
of having all this conspiracy talk. He didn't want anything to come down on his family. He heard that it could have been the Russians and all this, the KGB. He was hesitant to say anything because he was trying to protect his family. Eventually,
He heard all that conspiracy stuff within hours of the assassination.
sure, he was at the police station. Don't you think all those media guys were saying all this stuff? Then he overheard it. Don't you think that? I mean, these hallways were flooded with media. You could not walk around in there. Which I think was a horrible idea to have the media in that building.
Well, yeah, they totally violated his civil rights during that.
I 100% agree.
I mean, they paraded him around like a prize or something.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, surely they did. I agree with that. But that does not lead any credence to a conspiracy.
No, it doesn't. But anyway, back to that. The question you asked. I believe he was sent to get on this cab, to not be tracked and to make his prearranged destination point. Because I believe the address of the first place he was supposed to stop was a Mexican restaurant. I could be totally wrong on that, but I believe at the time it was a Mexican restaurant. That was supposed to be his first scheduled stop. And
Okay,
instead
so you agree that he got on a bus and a cab?
yes.
Then what are you talking about with this Rambler picking him up?
Well, that was what Curry's first reports were. He said there was a Rambler that picked him up from the school.
Okay, but you don't accept that, right? You accept that he went the bus route.
Let me go back. I have a problem with the bus pass because here Oswald is. I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of the bus pass,
Yes, I
but
have.
it's in pristine condition. If you've just been in a fight and you've been wrestled around, that bus pass should have been wadded up, should have had wrinkles, should have had creases. It was in perfect condition.
It was in his pocket. What's the problem?
Put a piece of paper in your pocket, a bus pass, and tell me if it doesn't get wrinkled up.
In fact, I just got into a fight a couple months ago and had a wad of money in my pocket, and the money wasn't crinkled up.
Money's not paper. It's made of different texture.
I mean, this is apples and oranges. Again, these are not these anomalies. These anomalies do not equal conspiracy. Okay, his bus pass was in nearly pristine condition. So what? That does not mean somebody else shot the president.
It points to me a way that he was exactly where he said he was. His story never changed. He was either on the first floor or the second floor.
Hold on, we're talking about the bus pass here. So you discredit
the bus pass. The bus pass is on the way home, because I can get into stuff on the way home, and then when he left and then ran into Tip, but I think that's a whole different segment.
Hell yeah, that's a segment in its own. I agree.
Yeah, But I mean, I think tonight's
Which will probably be the most detailed segment.
yeah, yeah. I've got a lot of doubt to poke holes in Oswald's movements after that. But
And I have something I wanted to ask you. You said to me, and when we were messaging back and forth, you said, "I know you're going to bring up the Dick the Belt recording."
well, that should be safe for the shots.
Okay, but you know that those Dick the Belt recordings it was an hour after the assassination. That was proved.
And you know they've also been rechecked about 4 times.
Yeah. I mean, you can hear the guy whistling on his motorcycle. You can hear a bell tower going out in the background, which was all near the hospital. This guy was at the hospital, man. Or the Trade Mart, I'm sorry.
I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look that up because I've got other information about the Dick to Belt recordings and the shots that was fired out. But anyway, I guess you're saying Oswald was not in the break room. He was on the 6th floor the whole time in the sniper's nest.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm saying Oswald was downstairs and several people seen him there. I believe I've named out 8, and he was exactly where you said he was the whole time. Went up to buy a Coke, encountered Baker.
Okay. And you have these alleged people that said he's seen them there, but you told me that you have to look it back up to send me the information.
I'll go back and look it back up. I should have written the names down, but I was kind of in a hurry. But I'll go look back at that, and we can just make the whole next topic on the names and the people that did it, and the Warren Commission reports on it. I should have.
Okay, but as of right now, I have names that said he wasn't there from the commission and from
5 names that put him on the 1st floor just prior to the motorcade. So I mean,
but you don't have it. As of right now, you don't have the evidence of these people saying that.
I didn't write the source down for it now.
Right, you don't have the evidence right now.
I've done that, but I'll get it for you. I will. So we'll make the next segment about retouching on that.
Oh, here we go. At 12:32, Mrs. Reed, a clerical supervisor, runs into the 2nd floor office, the office space, as Oswald is coming through from the lunchroom, full bottle of Coke in hand. She says, "The president's just been shot." She says this in complete terror. Oswald murmurs something, but she doesn't understand. She feels it strange to see Oswald, a stock boy, in the office at that time. Oswald then heads to the stairs to the front entrance. He will substantially escape the depository and embark on his hasty getaway and his next horrible deed to come, which would be the Tippit murder. So he is seen in the not the break room, the what connects to the break room, the 2nd floor office. I guess it connects, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he is seen there passing through to get to the stairs at 12:32 by Mrs. Reed, a clerical supervisor, who thinks it's very odd to see a stock boy in there. She says to him, "The president's been shot." He just mumbles something, doesn't look at her, and keeps on moving. He doesn't say what? What? He doesn't say, "Hey, what are you talking about? The president's been shot," which he wouldn't know if he was in the lunchroom. He doesn't say anything like that. He just mumbles something and keeps it moving.
Odd. Yes. Incriminating, no.
No, definitely not incriminating, but odd.
He was an odd
It also it is slightly incriminating.
Still, I've got to go back and get the stuff that the people that put him in the break room. I mean, I didn't write it.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I can do that. We can do the next one because I mean, I just jotted down what they said and didn't put down the. And I may have. Where did I put that piece?
Because if you do, look, Chris. If you do, I have this right here, so I can verify right now for you. if you have these pages. The
I
Warren
do have,
report.
I do have these pages. Where did I put that piece of paper at? I know I thought I wrote them down somewhere, and I can't find. Let me look right here. There's
Because
appendix.
I'm willing to bet that what you read is some conspiracy twisted stuff.
No, this is a very reputable book.
Who wrote it?
Um, um, I don't recall the author's name. It's just called November 22nd, 1963. Um, yeah, I did not write down these Warren Commission sources. So I will have to go back and write those down and then come back and present them.
That's fine.
I was not as prepared as I thought I was.
I was not as organized as I thought I was.
Well, I was kind of all over the place too, but anyway, it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. So
All
if
right,
you
let's
want
get
to,
it on.
what?
Huh?
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, give me tomorrow to go back over this and we can try it again.
Okay, so as of now, up until his departure from the building, I have my assassin. I have him in that window. You still have no assassin in that building. You can't identify him. You can't do anything, right?
Uh, you have your alleged assassin. I have somebody else that was leaving the break room. I still say I have my witnesses that place him on the first and second floor.
As far as the assassin, though, you don't have any identification on who this guy is, right?
Um, from that building and from that location, no.
Right
Um,
on.
um, from another building, yes, I have my man, and from the
Daltex?
yes,
Okay. That's going to be when we get into the knoll and all that stuff.
and I may have my shooter, which is going to be a wild theory from behind the picket fence, but that's
Oh, I was expecting you to have a knoll shooter. Why? You're not thinking about having a knoll shooter?
Oh no, I definitely have a null shooter. My null
Oh,
shooter's probably you're probably just going to be like, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. But
are you talking about Woody Harrelson's dad?
no, 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 no. Tip it.
Oh, okay. The badge man.
Yeah.
Right on. So you can go back through your notes. I just wanted to clarify that I have my assassin in that building, and you just admitted that you do not have an identified assassin coming out of that building.
I will concede that you have your opinion of assassin.
Yep.
I do not have an identified assassin.
Well,
Or I do not
it's not
have.
my opinion. It's not my opinion. It's the opinion of the Warren Commission, the Church Select Committee, and the HSDA's opinion.
I have my opinion that there was a different assassin leaving the building. The man spotted on the fourth floor and that was seen leaving, that was not matching a description, but was told, but an alert was not put out for him. So I do have a man leaving there.
But you just don't know who he is.
No, I don't know who he is.
Right on. Okay, so do what you got to do, and if it takes more than tomorrow, that's fine. We can still
No.
chit chat about we can still chit chat about this. Maybe chit chat about getting it more organized this time.
All right, it sounds good, man.
How
But
do
yeah,
you see how much time we went on this?
no, I haven't.
It doesn't say.
No,
All right, that's cool. I don't think we went over an hour.
no. I think I can go back and pull all this up in just a few minutes tomorrow and go back live with my sources for it.
All right, well, we'll end this now and get at me on Messenger.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
All right.